Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I am going to be reviewing my new sim racing setup. It has been about 2 months now that I finished building this new setup. I am super happy with it, so it's about time that I show you exactly what I have, how much it costs, and how it compares to similar products currently on the market. And I will also give you some more affordable options for each category of product. This setup has some of the most recent and exciting sim racing parts that you can find on the market right now, but I need to start with the thing that holds everything together, the chassis. I went with the Trak Racer TR160S in blue with the GT seat. This rig with the direct drive front mount comes at a price of $899. That does not include the monitor stand or the seat, but I will talk about that a little bit later in the video. When it comes to this rig, at this price you can expect that it is a higher end rig. It is really high quality. It will do its job just like any other aluminum rig pretty much. However, you are getting a more sturdy frame. For this price, obviously it's going to be stronger and more rigid, so you can expect a high level of sturdiness. But what you're getting for this price is also this super sleek look. It looks just incredible. The finish is amazing. Honestly, on this paint, I really love the metallic blue. You're also getting improved profile, which means that it's actually going to ship in fewer boxes. They made it where you only have a few parts to put together, so the install process was just very straightforward. It didn't take a lot of time at all, which for me was really a big plus because I remember installing my last aluminum rig and it was just a nightmare. So I really enjoy that, and if that's what you're looking for, if you want something that you can just pretty much receive, install and get started with really quickly, this is the rig to go with. If you are looking for a more affordable option, Trak Racer offers different lines of rigs. You can go with the TR80 or the TR80 Lite, but you can get the TR80 for about $700 and the TR80 Lite for $500. They are both aluminum rigs and they will do their job as long as you don't have a super high torque wheelbase. This rig is the TR160S and it takes its name from basically the height of the frame. This is 160 millimeters, so if you're going with the TR80, you're basically cutting this in half. This is where most of the cost savings come from, but that means that you might also have to upgrade it later if you go with a higher torque wheelbase. However, remember that the rig is basically the base of your entire setup and you're not going to really change it anytime soon. There is not really anything different than this, other than if you want something like my TRX, which will give you a lot more adjustability, where it's a completely different type of profile, but otherwise you're pretty much set for years with your rig. So I wouldn't really cheap out on that because it will evolve with you. It will evolve as you change, your wheelbase or your pedals. If you're going for a higher torque in your wheelbase, it will still be able to handle it, and it will also allow you to add any kind of accessories. For example, I have on this side my shifter, but if you want to add some extra accessories to hold your keyboard or your mouse or anything like that, you can add anything you want on this rig. So it's definitely a good investment if you are able to afford this type of rig. This might seem a little bit high in terms of the price, but I can assure you that if you look at any other brand, they're around the same prices. If you're going for an equivalent rig to this one, you're gonna have to go around $800 to $900. So next, let's talk about the seat. I went with the Fiberglass GT style from Trak Racer. It's one of the only GT style seat that they offer. As you can see, it's a little bit big for me, so I have to say it is not the most comfortable for me, if I'm entirely honest. There is nothing wrong with the seat. I think it looks super cool. It has the Alcantara on the side here. It is really nice. It's just really not fitting me really well. I am 5'2". I'm a smaller frame, obviously, compared to most people that might be sim racing. So I'm sure it's fine for most people, but for me, it's just maybe not the best. So I might upgrade for a smaller seat in the future. When it comes to the monitor stand, as you can see, I went with the freestanding large monitor stand. It is perfect for my 57-inch monitor. It comes at a price of $319. You can get a smaller version, which basically is just this piece being a little bit shorter. You can go with the smaller version for $20 less, but I don't think it is worth it because if you want to upgrade your monitor in the future, you might have to change, this bar basically will be shorter, which might not be strong enough to hold a bigger monitor. So I would definitely recommend that you buy the large ones to start with. You also have the option to choose the monitor mount that attaches directly to the rig. It will come right over here above the wheelbase. Personally, I don't really like this type of chassis mounted monitor mount because I like the flexibility of being able to just move my monitor around. If I want to put it a little bit further, it's up to you, but personally I wouldn't go with the chassis mounted one. When it comes to the monitor, I decided to go with the Samsung Odyssey Neo G9 57-inch curved monitor. I bought it on sale earlier in the year for $1,800, but I've seen that the prices actually have gone down since then, and I think you can find it now for about $1,700. It is one of the largest, highest quality curved monitor that you can get on the market right now. It has a 240 Hz refresh rate and a 1 millisecond response time. The only caveat about this monitor is that you will need a very powerful PC to run it at its highest settings, and most importantly, you will need one of the new generation video cards, and that can cost a pretty penny. So for this rig, I really wanted to try the ultra wide monitor just because I already have the triple monitor setup on the other rig. In terms of the price, if you want a quality that is comparable to this monitor, you will have to go with the 4K Ultra HD monitors, and if you want a 32-inch curved monitor, it will cost you about $600. So the total will be $1,800 for 3 monitors, which is basically the exact same price as this. So it's about what you prefer really, but if you're okay with a lower resolution monitor, you can get ones that are 1440p at 165 Hz, and they will cost you about $300 to $350 each. This will get you the full triple monitor 32-inch setup for around $900, which is just about half the price of this 57-inch Samsung. And this is what I have on my other setup. So basically, if you don't have a crazy PC that will run this monitor at its highest setting, it's not even really worth it getting this monitor, to be completely honest, because you're not really gonna notice the difference in terms of the vision. It's all about the preference, and in this rig, I think this monitor is perfect because you're sitting so close to it that you still get the immersion feeling, and you don't have to worry about getting annoyed by the bezels that are separating each monitor. I personally really like this. I think it depends on your setup. Again, on that setup over there, I think the immersion is amazing. So if you're driving like a Formula 1 or open wheel car, it will give you maybe a little bit more like sense of speed than this one does. But it's really up to you and what you prefer in general. Samsung also offers a 49-inch version of this monitor, but I would not really recommend it for sim setup just because of the height of the monitor. If you're going with the 49, you're really compromising on your height, and it still comes at a pretty high price. I think I would just pay extra and make sure that I go with the 57. Now a little bit about the centerpiece of this setup, the wheelbase. I went with the Simucube Pro. It comes at a price of $1,379. It is not cheap, but just like the chassis, this is the type of thing in your setup that you are not going to change anytime soon. You can live with the same wheelbase for years, and that's why you want to go with something that is reliable and that will last you for a very long time. The Simucube Pro is known for its durability, and it is known as one of the tried and true wheelbases among sim racers. With a strength of 25 Newton meters, the direct competitor of the Simucube Pro is the Fanatec DD2, but it also comes at a price of $1,500. If you are looking for a cheaper option, the wheelbase is probably where you can save the most money without compromising on your experience. You can go for a lower torque wheelbase and still get a realistic feeling. There are options such as the Fanatec DD Plus, which is 15 Newton meters for about $1,000, or the Moza R12, which is 12 Newton meters and is under $600. For the steering wheel, I have the Simucube Valo GT23. It is one of the newest steering wheel from Simucube, and it comes at a price of $899. You can bundle it up with the Simucube Pro for $2,050, which will save you $250 total. This is a wireless Alcantara steering wheel with the LED light. It is definitely on the high end, and you can find a lot of cheaper options on the market right now. If you have the universal quick release, you can virtually put any single steering wheel on your wheelbase, so you can choose whatever you want. And if you want a Formula style steering wheel, I have the Moza KS steering wheel for $279. When it comes to the pedals, I have a Simucube set. I have the Simucube active pedal for my brake pedal, and I have the Simucube Throttle. The The Simucube Throttle costs $369 and can only be used if you have an active pedal with it. The active pedal is $22.99. It is obviously a league of its own. There is nothing comparable on the market right now. It really steps up the game in terms of what a pedal can do. You are getting force feedback directly under your feet. I will do a full review video on that later on, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss it. I am definitely in love with this pedal set, and if you have a big budget, if you can afford it, I would definitely recommend going with it because it's a game changer and you will not regret it. However, if you want to go the traditional route, you can be prepared to spend between $400 and $500 for a good set of load cell pedals. This is definitely a very high-end setup, and when you add up everything, it comes up to a total of $8,500. This is a lot of money, and I am very thankful to my sponsors, to Trak Racer and Simucube, for allowing me to build this setup. It is incredible and I am very happy with it, so huge props to them. This price does not even include my custom build PC, which for me was about $1,500, so a grand total of $10,000 for this setup. You can still go for something cheaper and still have something very nice, but definitely this is kind of the ultimate setup for me, and it comes up to about $3,000 more expensive than my initial setup. It was $7,000. If you haven't seen the video, it was my very first video on my YouTube channel where I reviewed my entire rig, so I'm gonna link it in the description below if you're interested in seeing the differences between the two setups. And actually, a lot of you have been asking me which setup do I like most between my TRX and my TR160S, and it is actually very difficult to compare them because I have one that is very formula oriented, the other one is GT focused, so they're totally different setups. They have a different purpose as well. I have to say, I love the look of my TRX still. I think it looks so amazing. It looks more open and also just more unique. I love that you can adjust it so easily, but I do like the sturdiness and rigidity that you get with the TR160S. In terms of the seat, I would definitely choose this seat over the GT one just because it is more comfortable for me. You can get that laid back position, which I think is so comfortable and is also very unique. Again, when it comes to the wheelbase and the steering wheel, I have had my Fanatec wheelbase for 4 years now, so it's a little bit hard to compare because it's almost, you know, getting a little bit old. I've been using it a lot, but I have to say the Simucube just feels so smooth, and you are getting this 360 Hz in iRacing that you're not getting with the Fanatec, so you get a little bit more immersion, a little bit more feeling in the steering wheel, which I really like, so I'm gonna go with the Simucube on that. For the pedals, as I mentioned before, this active pedal is not comparable to anything else on the market, so I am not going to compare this to my initial Fanatec V3 pedals just because it wouldn't be fair even to compare them. Definitely my active pedal is amazing and I would definitely never go back to anything else. Now the last thing, and a lot of you have been asking me, triples or a single monitor for the setup, and again, very difficult choice. I think it depends on your entire setup. For this rig, I honestly would not imagine just a single monitor because you can see how much further your head is to the screen compared to the setup on the TR160S. You sit much closer, and so I think you wouldn't get really that immersion feeling with just that single ultra wide monitor. So I really like the triple setup for this rig, and especially because I use this rig mostly for the Formula 1 driving, and I really enjoy this setup for that. But let's get back to the main focus of this video, this new sim setup. And to finish this video, it wouldn't be complete without a test drive, so let me jump into iRacing and show you what this rig is all about. The moment I get into the seat and grip the steering wheel, I can feel the excitement kicking in. The Simucube active pedal begins to vibrate under my feet as the ignition turns on, and it's almost like I just stepped into my own car. As can be expected, the TR160S rig feels incredibly sturdy. I have the force feedback set pretty high right now in iRacing, and there is no flex or movement whatsoever, both visually and from what I can feel through my hands. Every indentation in the road surface and every curve feel authentic, and that is thanks to the Simucube Pro and the 360 Hz force feedback in iRacing. The same can be said about the pedal plate. There is no flex at all here. The Samsung 57-inch monitor is definitely something you have to experience for yourself one day. The quality is perfect and the smoothness is off the charts. While my RTX 4070 Super may not be able to run it at its highest setting, I'm still getting upwards of 150 frames per second in iRacing. In terms of immersion, a triple monitor setup is better, but nothing beats how easy this monitor is to set up, and you're not losing that much in terms of field of view. The Simucube pedals and steering wheel really feel amazing, adding to the immersion and almost making me forget I'm in a sim. Next on the list is adding a second monitor on top, a haptic bass shaker, and maybe even motion just for when I want a little more immersion. After that, I'll be able to say I have the ultimate sim racing setup. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the track.